to be the night manager at the county dog service, because you were once approved by the Senate to be the night pound manager, does not mean that, oh, well, now I'm Attorney General. That's not how it works. You may not install someone as acting Attorney General who has not been vetted and approved by the Senate as someone who has the ability and the capacity to serve in that position. Not only has Matthew Whitaker never been approved by the Senate for anything like this, Trump violated the order of succession in order to place this cheating partisan hack, Whitaker, who was on the board of a company that stole tens of millions of dollars from its customers. He put this cheating, thieving, partisan hack in as acting Attorney General so that Trump may have access to everything in the Mueller investigation and so that Trump can shut down the Mueller investigation. And he did so by violating the law and violating the order of succession for the Attorney General of the United States. And the goddamn worthless Democrats are just, oh, well, I don't know. Is this something we should fight about or not? So, to illustrate exactly the place we find ourselves, I'm going to play this clip. This is not some crazy, wild-eyed, tragic, mulatto, broken hippie. Well, he could be. I don't know. He is Italian, and his hair's a little kinky. This is Andrew Napolitano, who is a legal analyst on Fox News, former federal judge. And Andrew Napolitano made very, very, very clear that Trump placing Matthew Whitaker, who has never been vetted or approved by the Senate for service at this level, in this position, it is simply not legal.
Now, about Matt Whitaker, under the law, the person running the Department of Justice must have been approved by the United States Senate for some previous position, even in an interim post.
Right.
Who is that person? Rod Rosenstein.
Mm-hmm. So it's not Mr. Whitaker.
Well, the president has taken Whitaker and promoted him above Rod Rosenstein. I don't know Whitaker's personal background.
Judge, I have a tweet. There's a tweet alert. It is from President Trump. He says, "We are pleased to announce that Matthew G. Whitaker, Chief of Staff to Attorney General Jeff Sessions at the Department of Justice, will become our new acting Attorney General of the United States. He will serve our country well. We thank Attorney General Jeff Sessions for his service and wish him well!" Exclamation point. A permanent replacement will be nominated at a later date. To your point,
Acting Attorney General Whitaker is a former United States attorney. Chris would know this better. I think Iowa. I'm not sure where. I
believe that's correct.
In that context, he was confirmed by the United States Senate, but he was not confirmed by the United States Senate for a leadership position in the Justice Department, and the statutes require that confirmation. The White House is going to have to work this out. Who has been confirmed and who's next in line? Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein.
Woo! There it is. What's going on? What's crack-a-lack, my peoples? Welcome to the show. I'm Jerry Quickley. This is happening. We're listening right now to some clips from Judge Andrew Napolitano, who couldn't be clearer to these hacks at Fox News, how what the president has done with the placement of a partisan hack, thieving scoundrel like Matthew Whitaker as his service dog leading the Department of Justice is completely illegal. Welcome to the show. We're taking your calls this hour. 818-985-5735. Again, the phone number here is 818-985-KPFK. I'm Jerry Quickley, and this is happening. Next up, let's give a listen to this next clip. This is Andrew Napolitano still speaking again. This is just yesterday to the dogs at Fox News who refuse to accept it, even when it comes from their side, that Trump's placement of Matthew Whitaker atop the Justice Department as acting Attorney General is in fact fully illegal.
You're saying that the guy the president has appointed is not qualified?
Is not legally qualified.
What does he need?
I'll tell you.
The president's got lawyers. They looked at that.
There's only three ways a person can become acting Attorney General.
Okay.
That's one, if you are the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. President signs an executive order and makes you acting. Two is, if you are already in the DOJ and have a job that requires Senate confirmation and you have received confirmation. That is not the case with Matt Whitaker, because he's the chief of staff. That does not require Senate confirmation. Three is a recess appointment, which is not relevant here because the Senate is not in recess. So with deference and respect to what the president is trying to do, he has every right to have whoever he wants run the Justice Department. He has chosen someone who does not qualify under the law to be the acting attorney general of the United States.
So he's really not the acting attorney general.
Which is why he did not take an oath of office.
No, they said he already took an oath, so he doesn't have to do it again. That's Judge,
I believe that's a political
Now, can he go on? Could he go on to become the attorney general?
Very good question, because if he is the acting attorney general, he is disqualified from becoming the attorney general.
But you said he's not really the acting.
Correct. Don't ask me to explain the logic behind this. These laws were written in a spirit of compromise of Republicans versus Democrats after the demise of President Nixon, and we kept changing FBI directors. If you remember this era, you're too young, and kept changing attorneys general in the Watergate era, and this is what they came up with.
Yeah, this is what they came up with. Do you hear that? This fake actor who has been illegally installed temporarily, illegally, in the role of acting attorney general, they haven't even been able to swear him in, because to swear him in is to break the law. If they swore him in, they could be prosecuted. So they have him operating in the fake role of attorney general without being sworn in, so that they can break this law by installing their partisan henchmen and not be prosecuted later. This is your government, my people. 818-985-5735 is the phone number. That's 818-985-KPFK. And to drive home this point, here's a clip of President Trump earlier today at a press gaggle in front of the White House, talking about how he has no idea. He didn't know Matt Whitaker. I don't know him. I don't know that man at all. I don't know that corn-fed white boy. He just works for Jeff Sessions. That's all I know.
Mr. President, what do you say to all the criticism of Matt Whitaker and Paul Clinton?
Well, Matt Whitaker, I don't know Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker worked for Jeff Sessions, and he was always extremely highly thought of, and he still is. But I didn't know Matt Whitaker. He worked for Attorney General Sessions. He was very, very highly thought of, and still is highly thought of. But this only comes up because anybody that works for me, they do a number on them. But Matt Whitaker is a very smart man. He is a very respected man in the law enforcement community, very respected, at the top of the line. And actually, the choice was greeted with raves initially, and it still is in some circles on, it's a shame that no matter who I put in, they go after him. It's very, very sad, I have to say. But he's acting. I think he'll do a very good job, and we'll see what happens. But I will say this, Matt Whitaker is a very highly respected man, and you didn't have any problems with Matt Whitaker when he worked for Jeff Sessions. He's respected by law enforcement. He's a very strong law enforcement personality and person. I didn't speak to Matt Whitaker about it. I don't know Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker has a great reputation, and that's what I wanted. I also wanted to do something which, frankly, I could have brought somebody very easily from the outside. I didn't want to do that. When Sessions left, what I did, very simply, is take a man who worked for Sessions. Again, he worked for Jeff Sessions. He's a highly respected man, especially by law enforcement, and I think he's going to do a great job. He's there in an acting position. He's probably, from what I hear, a very strong person, a very strong personality, and I think that's what they need.
Okay, that was 2 minutes of fake unelected rapist President Donald Trump dissembling and claiming. He repeated over and over for more than 2 minutes, I don't know Matthew Whitaker. I don't know Matthew Whitaker. I don't know Matthew Whitaker. Okay, great. Trump doesn't know Matthew Whitaker. Now let's listen to a clip from Trump on October 11th from Fox News admitting and acknowledging his knowledge of Whitaker.
we know you're probably running short on time. One other question, though. In the Washington Post this morning, it says that you talked to the Attorney General's Chief of Staff about replacing the Attorney General. Apparently, according to the Post, you talked to Matthew Whitaker, but the conversation was nebulous, they depicted as. It wasn't clear whether you wanted him to replace him on an interim basis or he would be nominated on a more permanent basis. Anything to that story?
Well, I never talk about that, but I can tell you Matt Whitaker's a great guy. I mean, I know Matt Whitaker, but I never talk about conversations that I had. But, you know, the Washington Post gets it wrong a lot. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but the conversation is that you are in active talks to replace the Attorney General of the United States.
I'm not doing anything. I want to get the elections over with. We'll see what happens. I'm very disappointed that we go through this witch hunt, this ridiculous witch hunt. And now even Richard Burr, who's the highly respected senator in charge of the Senate Intelligence Committee, he just came out. He said, no, there's been no collusion. He sees absolutely, this is after spending a year and a half on this stuff, there's no collusion. Devin Nunes came out. There's been no collusion from the committee in the House. Devin said no, and they came out with a very strong report. No collusion. There is no collusion. There's no collusion. There is collusion with Hillary Clinton and the Russians, but there's no collusion with the Republicans, and there's certainly no collusion with Donald Trump, and everyone knows it. And they ought to get it over with, and they ought to save a lot of money and a lot of time.
But, Mr. President, there's no collusion, but there's no conclusion either. So
well,
are they intentionally laying out now? And is there anything, and have you thought again about sitting down for an interview or write written questions?
Yeah, so there was Donald Trump at a press gaggle today, saying, I don't know Matthew Whitaker. I have no connection with him. And then I just fished up a clip from October 11th with the fake president, Trump, on Fox News talking about how he was asked about, hey, there's a report in the Wall Street Journal saying that you're a Washington Post, you're thinking about replacing Jeff Sessions with Matthew Whitaker. Well, I know Matthew Whitaker. I don't like to talk about it, but he's a great guy. This is open obstruction of justice. This is open witness tampering. This is open criminality. We're taking your calls here at 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. I'm Jerry Quickley. This is happening. Next up, first up, let's talk to Dave calling for Fullerton. Dave, welcome to the show. What's the deal?
Help?
Hey.
So.
You with us, Dave? All right. I guess not. Next up, let's try talking to Ben calling from Van Nuys. Ben, welcome to the show. What's the dealio?
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. This Donald Trump is a total disgrace to the whole world. But the only way that we're going to get rid of him is if we have a repeat of the 1960. All this college in the country, forget about the 1 million people walk. You have to have 25, 50 million people walk, all the college students from all over the country in the summer walking to Washington from their college, one by one, millions of people walking towards Washington, creating the most incredible thing that never happened in American history. That's how you get rid of Trump. When you have 50 million kids walking to Washington from all the colleges around the country, believe me, they're going to get rid of him.
Thanks for the call. I really appreciate hearing from you. My fear is that I agree that that's a great creative way of bringing attention, and the attention must be sustained. But my concern is that any group of people walking the United States, that are organized against Donald Trump, particularly if any one of them happens to not be white, would pretty much be attacked and killed by Trump police. Who knows? Maybe not. But you hear always talking about the caravans. How long would it take for him to start talking about dangerous, deadly American caravans? Okay, we are in a constitutional crisis. An unelected president who was installed by the Russians has now installed one of his partisan hack henchmen to run the Justice Department so that he and his family can escape justice for the crimes they've committed against the people of America. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump Jr. is going to be indicted next week. See you in handcuffs, sucker. 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. I'm Jerry Quickley. First, let me see. Next up, let's talk to Jason calling from Lakeport. Jason, welcome to the show. What's the dealio?
Hey, Jerry. How you doing, bro?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to say you made a comment the other day about if you're politically protesting and active, what are you doing it for someone you care about? Well, I just wanted to say for all the audience, man, that we love you. We care about you. You entertain us. You educate us. And you inspire us. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, brother.
Also, I just wanted to make a quick comment. You had Greg Pallas on the other day on Election Day, and you guys got me all hyped up about the provisional ballot, right? So I took my two young sons in to vote. One of them was his first time voting. The other one was his second time. And we get up in the line, and they hand them provisional ballots. I'm like, what is that? They go, oh, it's a provisional ballot. Did you go to the DMV recently? No, we didn't. Well, apparently the DMV in Orange County was sending everyone provisional ballots that renewed their license recently.
Oh, so basically the Republican white supremacist scum who are in management in Orange County decided, hey, here's an awesome trick to trick people of color in Orange County out of their ability to vote.
Yeah, pretty much. And, I'm
Wow.
a white dude, so I'm not saying it's, necessarily against colored people. I think it's just anybody who might be liberal even.
Right, exactly. When I say people of color, what in this voting respect, what I'm really referring to, they're focused constantly and always on people of color. But that's not who they're exclusively focused on. They're also focused on poor whites and whites that are likely Democratic voters. They're focused on anyone who is not a clear and strong Republican. And if you're white, you can absolutely get your vote disenfranchised. If you are in a strongly Democratic area, you can be disenfranchised as though you were black.
Yep. And so I noticed this, and I wasn't too agitated. I was just concerned, so I made my voice known and had to talk to a couple of people there, and they cleared it up. They voided them out, and they got to vote regularly. But guess where I got to go?
Oh, right to prison?
No, not to prison, but they sent me to the back of the line, so I got another half an hour to...
Oh, wow. See, right. But that's just it. When you point out an irregularity and they fix it, and a part of their fix is retaliating against you, what you pointed out, you weren't supposed to have pointed out, or they wouldn't have retaliated.
Yeah. And, they were really odd about it, and the way they were talking about the DMV was like putting up their finger like, oh, don't say anything, but I think this might have happened. It's crazy,
Wow.
man.
Hey, Jason, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for being out there voting and showing your children the way. That's what counts, bro. That's what matters. Taking your calls here at 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. At the press gaggle that happened earlier today with Monsignor Rapist Trump, there were other questions about Matthew Whitaker. Let's give a listen.
Why don't you ask Kellyanne that question? All right. She might know him better than me. I really don't know the guy. Well, when you make a comment, first of all, let me speak, please. First of all, when you make comments, I see everybody on television, all these lawyers, all these law enforcement people making comment after comment. They never ask to get recused. They make comment. The fact that you go on Fox or CNN or MSNBC or anybody, you make a comment, you'd have nobody left to choose. You would have absolutely nobody left. I see different people at different times going on shows. Am I supposed to say, oh, now he's never qualified to serve in government? So all the time I'm watching many different people go on many different shows, saying many different things. That doesn't mean they're unqualified. Now, in all fairness to Matt Whitaker, who, again, I didn't know, okay? Other than through reputation, his reputation is excellent. But in all fairness to him, he did some shows, so did many of the people that you're talking about. So did everybody that you're talking about a permanent position. I think everybody looking at a permanent position in any department has done many shows. Does that mean we can't hire anybody? We have to hire somebody that's in a shell? I don't think so.
Okay, so Matthew Whitaker went on television repeatedly saying that there is no collusion, that this is a witch hunt, and that the Mueller investigation has gone too far and it should be shut down. He has prejudged the Mueller investigation without having any knowledge of its workings, without having any knowledge of what they were finding. Matthew Whitaker prejudged the investigation and said it should be shut down and or starved of funds and brought to a halt. That is why Trump placed this hack partisan henchman, illegally placed this hack partisan henchman in charge of the Department of Justice. Oh, and by the way, Trump, your son's about to be indicted. Psych! Psych! Handcuffs, Bubba. 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. Maybe you can put some money on his books. 818-985-5735. I'm Jerry Quickley. This is happening. And let me see, next up, let's talk to Ron calling from Valencia. Ron, welcome to the show. What's the dealio?
Hi. How are you?
Good, thank you.
All right. So I've listened to your show a few times. I know your stance against Trump and, of someone of color. What did you think about President Clinton back in the day?
I was really.
He represented you or your people or your cause or how did you?
Well, in the first place, the only cause that I represent, we have meetings on Friday, and it's called the Society of American All Blacks. So, if you're asking whether or not Clinton represented my Society of All Blacks, well, I would have to say absolutely not. That Clinton was a nightmare to black Americans, and he was a deep racist. So is his wife. I would never in my life vote for Clinton or vote for any of the Clintons or their offspring, because I'm tired of them trading the presidency like it's a goddamn crown. Did I answer your question?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I know Republicans are frequently shocked when I say that I believe the Clintons are basically scum. That I don't know why they're surprised at that, but frequently Republicans are surprised when I say that.
Yeah, and many of my friends who are Democrats and always voted Democrat, they think Bill Clinton was a god, and Trump's just this rapist, and
Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are what brought us here. Bill Clinton and the racism he displayed against the racism he displayed towards communities of color, and the hostility he displayed towards struggling whites, poor and working class whites, with his ridiculous racist overhaul of the social safety net programs while his wife was running around talking about super predators, is totally unacceptable. His wife also took $2.9 million from Wall Street for 12 days worth of work. She took $3 million for 12 days worth of work from the most powerful industry on earth that she knew she was seeking to regulate. That's called being pre-bought. She's scum. Did I stutter? Thank you. Thanks for the call. 818-985-5735 is the phone number here. That's 818-985-KPFK. You know why Wall Street paid Hillary Clinton $2.9 million for 12 days work? Let's break that down over a number of years. That's like Hillary Clinton. Like, if you got $50,000 a year, okay, Wall Street just send you a check, $50,000 a year. They would literally have to send you a check, $50,000 a year, for roughly the next 60 years. And when you count the interest that money earns, it's more like 100 or 120 years. So what Hillary Clinton did was 12 days worth of work that she got a lifetime check, $50,000 a year for 100 years from 12 days worth of work. Whom have you ever worked for that promised you $50,000 a year for 100 years, and when they called you to say they need to talk to you about something, you don't take their call? She was pre-bought. She sold us out before she ever ran again. Taking your calls here at 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. Next up, let's talk to Soraya calling from Chino Hills. Soraya, welcome to the show. What's it do?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So first, just to respond to that last caller, I don't know why people think that black people are in love with the Clintons. They called our children super predators.
Right.
We did not want her.
Right.
But we also did not want deeply racist Trump.
Exactly.
We were dealing with two evils, like
I was lucky.
Usually are.
So, Soraya, I think that you were lucky too. If you're black, you live in California, you were lucky because lucky in the last presidential election because there was Clinton had. It wasn't as though the choice was either the racist Clinton or the uber racist Trump. Clinton had such a strong lead within this state that I was able to vote my conscience. I didn't have to worry about voting for the lesser racist or the bigger racist. I was able to vote for whom I wanted to, who, as far as I know, was not an open racist.
And here's the truth: I didn't vote for her either. I voted for Bernie. So the deal for me is, and I'm from California, so I was allowed to do that. I was safe here. But here's the deal: Trump. I'm a speech pathologist, by the way. I analyze language for a living, and Trump speaks like a person who has dementia.
Right.
If you were to analyze his language sample, it is just chock full of neologisms, interjections, full of ands, buts. He's constantly
fragmentary ideas never fully expressed. These fragmentary ideas never fully expressed relating to some racist subtext that he assumes his audience has pre-assumed.
My gosh. And when the news reporter asked him very blatantly, why did you relate yourself as a nationalist, he turned around and called her racist. I find that so ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
He still to this day has not refuted the fact that he's a white nationalist. Like,
because he is.
We're going to wake up and see this. Like, we're literally not just a constitutional crisis. We're in a state of emergency. We're in the middle of a race war, basically, that they are prompting. Like, this is ridiculous already. Somebody wake up and see that they're trying to start a race war. No one sees this?
Right. Soraya, hold on a second. I'm going to play this clip. This is Trump macking out like the racist freak he is, talking badly to yet another black reporter, another black female reporter. This is earlier today in his press gaggle.
It's up to him.
Do you want him to rein in Robert Mueller?
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
So that was Abby Phillips who asked President Trump whether or not he wants Acting Attorney General Whitaker to pull in or restrain the Mueller investigation. And his response was, what a stupid question. What a stupid question. I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions. Soraya, Trump holds a particular amount of venom, vehemence, and anger towards black people. And God, oh God, don't let it be a black woman who's holding him to the fire on anything, asking him any legitimate question he represents, because that sister is going to get it with both barrels.
Yeah, I noticed that. And that sister there that you just played, I mean, she's a Harvard alum.
Right.
Like, she's nowhere near stupid.
Right. Stacey Abrams, a Yale graduate, and he said she wasn't qualified to be the governor of Georgia. She's a Yale grad. So it doesn't, if you're black in America, it doesn't matter. Like, I taught at a few Ivy League universities. Stacey Abrams graduated from Yale. Abby Phillips graduated from Harvard. But in Trump's eyes, we're three niggers.
Oh, my gosh. It's so clear. It's so clear that it's race. What I just want to say very clearly before, I get off with you today is that I keep hearing our press say things like, I can't really understand what could be the confounding factor that continues to allow educated white people to continue to vote for him. How is it that he continues to get 55% of the white woman's vote? Listen, they're racist.
Yeah.
They are racist.
It's only confounding if you don't accept the existence of racism. Then you're totally freaked out. It's like not understanding the existence of gravity. I don't understand why my furniture isn't floating. It's gravity. Same thing with race. I don't understand why all these white people vote against their own interests and create all kinds of harm and oppression for others as well as themselves. Yeah, it's racism. It's gravity, buddy. It's crazy.
let's just be clear. They're racist.
Yep, there it is. Soraya, thanks for the call. I really appreciate hearing from you. We're taking your calls here at 818-985-5735. That's 818-985-KPFK. Let me see. Next up, let's talk to Banus calling from Fullerton. Banus, welcome to the show. What's the dealio? You with us, Banus?
Hi, Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you for taking my call. My comment has to do with that clip you played earlier where Trump is talking about Matthew Whitaker and not knowing him. And then you played the other clip where he does know him,
right?
Obviously. So in the regular news channels, of course, they would show the first clip, but they would not show the second clip. So my question is, how do we get these journalists and these news channels to inform the public about these blatant lies that this guy just says left and right?
Well, here's one way that you can do it. You can do it by listening to this show. You can also check us out online on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/TIH Live. And we're broadcasting on YouTube as well, in addition to the Pacifica system. So you can go to YouTube and just search for Jerry Quickley or This Is Happening. It'll take you right to our channel, and you can subscribe. And all these videos that we post every week around this, we want to continue to expand our footprint. We want to continue to expand our use of these platforms because we want to continue to bring you those breakpoints that that we brought you earlier today that the mainstream media misses. We play one clip of Donald Trump today saying, "I don't know Matthew Whitaker from a hole in the wall." We played 2 minutes of him denying it. And I go to the next clip from October 11th on Fox News. He's like, "Matthew Whitaker's the best. I love that guy. He came over and, I let him babysit my children, the foreign ones, from the foreign lands, where I had sex with prostitutes and now I have illegitimate children that hasn't come out yet. I let Matthew Whitaker babysit for them." All right, I was just channeling Trump in my head. It doesn't mean it's true.
Jerry, can I just maybe rephrase what I was saying, or maybe I missed?
Sure, please do. I don't mean to talk over you. Whatever comment you have.
No, I was saying, how do we get this information to the public and these news channels that would show the first clip of him saying, "No, I don't know Matthew Whitaker," but they don't bother showing the second one to show that he is actually lying?
You know what, Banus? This is a willful ignorance on the part of the U.S. media. If at our tiny little radio network that we have nationally, we're tiny but we're mighty. And if with our really tiny, minuscule production budgets, I am able to produce broadcast content and radio content that shows clearly juxtaposing Trump's different contradictory statements about the Republican partisan hack that he's placed as the Attorney General. If I'm able to do it, they're able to do it, because it's not me. It's not just me and my producer. It's not two people. It's 200 people that work on a show there. And with our limited resources, we're able to make this as clear as a bell. If they're choosing not to make it as clear as a bell, that's a choice of willful ignorance. They don't want it to be clear.
I agree.
Thanks for the call. I really appreciate hearing from you. Wow, this is like crazy ass day, ain't it? We're going to give a listen to another clip about this is the whole ball game, folks. This Whitaker appointment. This is it. This is it. The moment has arrived. Push has come to shove. Donald Trump has installed a partisan hack who is against the Mueller investigation, has been against it, and has even publicly offered strategies to end, curtail, mitigate, or just completely do away with the Mueller investigation. We're going to listen to this clip. This is from MSNBC. This is Sam Stein, Nicole Wallace, and Matt Miller, who used to work for the Justice Department, describing exactly what conflicts and prejudices exist and are associated with Trump's placement of Matthew Whitaker, with Trump's illegal placement of Matthew Whitaker atop the Justice Department as acting Attorney General.
Now, about Matt Whitaker, under the law, the person running the Department of Justice must have been approved by the United States Senate for some previous position, even an interim post.
Right.
Who is that person? Rod Rosenstein.
Mm-hmm. So it's not Mr. Whitaker.
Well, the president has taken Whitaker and promoted him above Rod Rosenstein. I don't know Whitaker's
Judge,
personal
I have a
background.
tweet. There's a tweet alert. It is from President Trump. He says, we are pleased to announce that Matthew G. Whitaker, Chief of Staff to Attorney General Jeff Sessions at the Department of Justice, will become our new acting Attorney General of the United States.
Yeah, that was actually a clip from Fox that I played earlier. My bad. Here's a clip. This is a clip from MSNBC featuring Sam Stein, Nicole Wallace, and Matt Miller Matt Miller used to be a spokesman of the Department of Justice, explaining exactly what the issues are associated with Trump's illegal placement of Matt Whitaker as acting AG.
We dug up these old quotes from Matthew Whitaker, the current acting attorney general, who had a fairly lengthy stint as a conservative commentator, basically, prior to this. And what struck us, and I think should strike a lot of people, is that about a year and a half before he became in the position to oversee the Mueller probe, declared definitively, quote, the truth is there was no collusion with the Russians and the Trump campaign. So he has predetermined the outcome of the investigation that he is now overseeing. This is, I would assume, highly problematic. In another instance, he said that the only collusion that occurred was between Hillary Clinton and the Russians. These are sort of these conspiracy theories that you see from pro-Trump media personalities, not the chief law enforcement official of the country, let alone someone who is now overseeing the probe, looking into this very question. So it raises further questions.
Unbelievable. I can see Matt.
He is both. Yeah. Only in Trump's America. Man.
Let me bring Matt Miller in. I mean, this is like all things Trumpian, out in the blue and shocking and outrageous, all in the same instant.
It is beyond ridiculous that this guy is the acting attorney general. Imagine that if in 2016, in the last couple of months before the investigation into Hillary Clinton was about to wrap up, if Barack Obama had fired Loretta Lynch and made, say, Lanny Davis the attorney general, someone who had been out campaigning against the legality of that investigation and saying the investigation is phony and that Hillary Clinton do anything wrong, it would be absurd. And no American would have had confidence that that investigation was conducted with integrity. The same thing applies here. There is no American that can look at this investigation when you have the Attorney General who has prejudged the outcome on multiple occasions, and that is the reason he was picked for the job. Multiple other people were passed over for the job, passed over for the line of succession, and he was installed into it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't pass the smell test, and I think this is a pretty clear sign. I mean, this may be the straw that breaks the camel's back, that he just has to take himself out and recuse from this investigation, although he's obviously going to resist doing that.
Yeah, Matthew Whitaker's not going to recuse because that would literally destroy the reason that he was put in power. Next up, let's talk to Michelle from Torrance. Michelle, welcome to the show. What's the dealio?
Hi, Jerry.
Hey.
I wanted to thank you so much yesterday for letting me know about the rallies that were going on. I was very active because I always call you and say, Jerry, I don't know what to do. And now I've linked up with an organization in my community. We were about 350 strong last night on Sepulveda and Hawthorne Boulevard in Torrance.
Nice.
And as soon as I stepped up, they said, do you have a loud voice? I go, well, I karaoke. So they said, no karaoke till you get this idiot out of office. So I led all the chants last night, and it was really good to be out there and to be active. And now I'm hooked.
Right. Once you meet up with some like-minded people trying to create positive change for themselves and others, they care about people they haven't even met. That's infectious.
And Jerry, but what was amazing to me, the people that were not in support of us, because we were like, hunk for justice, and we had all these chants about, Cheeto, and so we were getting thumbs down, and I said, wow, it's amazing how these people are so removed and don't feel like they're impacted by this idiot. I'm just blown away. It is not a black and white thing anymore. It's not a political party. It's a matter of moral consciousness.
Right.
I mean, and to not...
They're kidnapping babies, and now they're bringing back this policy of kidnapping babies.
Right. So I have just come to terms with the people that I work with that are Trump supporters. You're just bona fide racists. I've tried to make excuses because you're nice to me. But if you can support this fool after everything he's done, you're just a racist.
Exactly. People talking about, Melania Trump, you can't put her. She's not a racist. Oh, yes, she is. She's a woman from Eastern Europe who's perfectly happy moving her parents here on what Trump has described as chain migration. And look, you can there's all kinds of people that are married to racists who they themselves are not racist. That's a common event in America. Some unlucky woman finds herself married to some dude who is a racist jerk, but beyond being a racist, he's okay in the house, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that happens. You can do that and not be a racist, but you can't be someone who's married to the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan and claim you're not racist.
yes.
Your marriage to him facilitates his racism. Melania Trump, you're a stand-up racist. You're married to a Grand Dragon. You can't be married to the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan and not be a racist.
You have to be, and you're a mother, and you can stand by and watch what he does, and then throw on a jacket that you wear that you don't care or whatever jacket. I'm just
Show up in Africa with her racist colonial helmet, talking about I'm here to see the animals. Oh, okay. I gotta let you get me spun up, and we're trying to wrap. We're gonna wind down the show. Thanks for the call. Appreciate hearing from you, Michelle. 818-985-5735 is the phone number. That's 818-985-KPFK. I'm Jerry Quickley. This is happening. Next up, let's talk to Charles calling from Los Angeles. Charles, welcome to the show. What's the deal?
All right, what's going on? Hey, here's the thing. I got a 4-syllable word.